Imagine if your projects and tasks were done on autopilot, you're able to minimize manual tasks by freeing up your time to focus on what you really want to do. That's the role of ClickUp automation. And in today's video, I'll be showing you a few examples of how ClickUp automations can work. And in that way, you can streamline your business processes, automate repetitive tasks, and increase your productivity. So my name is Shirley, and let's get started. Alright, when starting with automations in ClickUp, it's important to note first a couple of things. So first, you need to locate where the automations are, and that is usually inside a list, a folder, or a space. You can see here a robot icon called Automate, and if you click on that, then you can already create automations from here. You can also locate automations inside, again, the list, folder, or space level by clicking on the list settings or folder settings for that matter, and clicking on automations. So the easiest automations you can actually create are always assigning certain tasks to a person or always adding watchers. So if there's one person that always needs to be assigned a task, for example, on their own list, so why not just add always assign tasks to me? So that way you're saving a few clicks, and whenever you create a new task, it always gets assigned to you. So in this scenario, we're going to go ahead and create automations for an email newsletter. So I have here 3 lists for my newsletter campaign. I have an ideas list, I have an in progress list for articles or tasks that are already in progress, and a published list. So let's say that I have a new idea, and I will go and create a new task for this. You can also create a form for new ideas to come in, but regardless of where it comes from, there is a new task. Let's say that if this new idea is approved, I want it to go to the in progress list. So what I'll do is I will add an automation that when the status changes to, ready, because I want it to be ready to be written, then I want it to move to a list. So that list will be the in progress list. Okay, so it will go to ready. And then from ready, it will move to in progress list. So if we will go ahead and try that, if I change the status of this task to ready, what should happen is that it will disappear from this idea list, then it will go to this other list. Alright, so there's test idea from the ready status. So now that we're in the in progress status, we can make a lot more automations depending on the status of the task. So let's say there is always someone that should be assigned to when the task is now ready for review. So I will go ahead and create an automation just for this list that when the status changes, I want it to be assigned to a certain person. So as we mentioned, I want the status who is with a ready for review to always be assigned to a certain person. That can be me or anyone else. So if you click this advanced button, you actually have a lot of options to change assignee. You can either add an assignee, remove an assignee, reassign or remove all assignees. So what's the difference? If you add an assignee, you're basically adding another person into the existing task. So if there's someone who is already assigned to the task, which is me, then I want to add another person, a secondary person, as an assignee to that task. Now, if I want to remove the assignee, of course, I'll be removing myself, but I would want to reassign the task to someone else because maybe reviewing the task will not be my role, it will be the reviewer's role. So that's when I will choose removing me, then reassigning it to somebody else. Now, if you're going to choose this, it will remove all assignees entirely. So let's say this will be the status. So when the status changes to in review, it will be assigned to the reviewer. That's it. And another automation that you can do is, for example, you have a task to approve a certain graphic or approve a certain caption. Instead of having an approved status, you can actually just have a subtask to approve this task. So how does that look like? All right, let's say that I have a follow-up column in here. So if I have a first follow-up, then I want it to be activating or adding a subtask. So let's say that if my custom field changes for a follow-up, I want it to, if it goes to the first follow-up, then I want to create a subtask wherein the name of that will be please review this. And then you will have here a list of custom fields where you can choose the task name. And then you can go ahead and put in a due date and also assign it to me. So let's go ahead and create this automation for subtask follow-up. Okay, so what this does is, for example, I'll go ahead and create a first follow-up with this task. Then I will see here a subtask has been created to review this main task, and that it has been assigned to me, and the due date is today, or you can even make it 24 hours, 48 hours to give them enough time to review. And you can also rename this as, let's say, you can have this as, instead of first, you can have this as approved, or for revision, or declined. So it's really up to you, as long as you've set up your custom fields and you've set up your automations to be created when you trigger that custom field. So another task or another automation that you can use is that you can apply a template when a new task is created. So let's say that you have a new task and you want to apply certain subtask templates. So let's choose when a new task is created, and can be from any kind of sources. Then I want to apply a template. So let's say I have an article template and I want this template to be assigned. So templates can't be applied to tasks or subtasks that were created by templates, so it has been deselected. So I'll go ahead and create this one. So just in case that we have now a new task in here, what that will do is that it will apply that task template and add subtasks to this new task. So it should take a few minutes. If I try to click on this task, the subtask should populate. There you go. So it took a few seconds, but it's now showing the subtask background research, check resources, and write objective. So that whenever, let's say, it changes to a new task or a changed status, you can actually go ahead and apply a task template. Another automation you can do is that, let's say all the tasks has already been done. The article is now written, they're reviewed, they're approved, and they're now published. So of course, after this whole process is done, we want them to go to the publish list. So let's say when the task is moved to a different list, we want to send an email out to like the manager that the task has been already published in an email. So you can go ahead and add an automation wherein if the task, let's go ahead and go to email automations. And it says here, when moved to this location, send email. So we actually need to choose the location where we want it to go and create the automation from there. So we'll choose email automation and choose when moved to this location, send email. So let's say when moved to this location, I will go ahead and be the one to receive that email as well. And then email is now published. See article here. Okay. So let's go ahead and test this task. So let's say this is now published. I wanted to move to the other list, to the published list. It will probably change status again to do. Do nothing. And so you will see here this article is now in a published mode. And I have an email that has been sent out that the email is now published. So this would be very helpful for me just to get an overall tracking or to keep on top of all the emails as soon as they've been published. And that's it. Those are all the automations that you can do for an email newsletter campaign. So you don't have to do any manual work or remember who the task should be assigned to, or remember to add due dates or to move them to the next stage after they're published. So all of these can be set up by ClickUp automations. So if that's been helpful for you, you can go ahead and check out our other ClickUp videos about automations, productivity, and workflows.